Right everyone, what is going on? BusterBarnes here, bringing you my preview for Game Week 26 in Fantasy Premier League. A massive double game week. I'll also be giving you guys a little recap and review of how Game Week 25 went, but with the majority of the focus being on the upcoming week, where we will see what I have done to my team to get the most out of what is going to be a massive week for a lot of Fantasy Premier League owners. If you guys do enjoy these videos, please be sure to leave a like, comment down below what you guys are planning on doing for this upcoming week, and as always, subscribe for more Fantasy Premier League content. My review of this game week will be out after it does finish, so you can always stay tuned for that as well. And as always, join the league code at the top of the screen. It is never too late to do so. But with that, let's take a little quick look at how my team did in Game Week 25. So as you guys can see, I did pick up a very respectable 77 points. That was 22 points above the average and did actually see us finally get a green arrow in the overall ranking, going to 459,310th position, getting closer and closer to my rank that I finished on last season. Hopefully we can pick up some form and see my rank progress even more. Would really love to beat my one from last year and show that progression. But getting into the team, Meslier getting a nice 10 points for me. Was very glad that I did start him. Martinez only getting the 2. Defence, a few clean sheets in there. We saw Stones, we saw me. A good decision to get Strubic as well, getting those 8 points. Was a bit worried about his playing time, but he did in fact start both games, and did pull it out the bag fairly well for me. Robertson, Soufal, not really impressing too much. They weren't actually starting for me. I did have Grealish and Foden both starting, but neither of them played. Grealish actually looks like he might be out. I think it was confirmed he'll definitely be out for the game tomorrow, so we'll see if I've done anything regarding that. But yeah, Salah, not great, but we did see some good tools from Fernandes and Harvey Barnes, getting 12 and 13 points respectively. Barnes on some incredible form. We did see Bamford, he got 8 points, he was my captain. I don't regret it because at the end of the day I was always going to put him as the captain with a double game week, but obviously it would have been better to do Fernandes or Barnes. Watkins getting 2 points as well, not that impressive, but at the end of the day all that matters is that green arrow, and it was a fairly respectable score compared to others as well. This was obviously the important lead score, them keeping a clean sheet against Southampton. Obviously their first game was quite disappointing against Wolves, but luckily that has been reprimanded. Southampton getting the draw against Chelsea. Not the best Chelsea performance. There is still some struggles with the attack. I think if you're going to pick up a Chelsea player, maybe you could get like a Rudiger as a cheap defender, but with their upcoming fixtures against United, Liverpool, Everton, I'd probably just stay away from Chelsea, to be honest. Burnley, West Brom getting the 0-0s as well. What else did you expect in this game? Liverpool losing to Everton though. Liverpool really on a bit of a downward spiral. However, being a Chelsea fan and as optimistic as I am, I just know that they're going to break their little losing streak at home when we face them. So that's a bit of a shame, but it did mean that Everton did pick up the win. Fulham getting the 1-0 win over Sheffield. Fulham, they're still looking quite good, and I do think that Lookman is the player to get if you do want a Fulham asset. He is really just their star man at the moment. West Ham pulling off a fairly decent upset against Spurs. I say upset, they are above them in the table. Antonio getting on the score sheet, obviously. He was my final sub. That was a bit of a mistake. Would have got a few extra points if I had to put him a bit earlier, but he had a bit of a yellow box, so I didn't want to risk him only getting a minute or two, but it turns out that didn't matter. He still picked up a return. Leicester picking up the win over Aston Villa. A bit of a controversy with FPL leaking Grealish's injury apparently. I don't really know too much about that, but I think Aston Villa players have been banned from using FPL, so that's pretty peak for them. Man City getting the 1-0 win over Arsenal. I do think hopefully we'll see City score some more goals. They do have some very favourable fixtures coming up. Just a bit of a leak into my team for this upcoming week. United's beating Newcastle 3-1. Brighton losing 2-1 to Crystal Palace. Got to feel bad for Brighton. They seem to be playing good football but just not getting the results. And Leeds picking up the big 3-0 win with a little nice tribute to the gran of Calvin Phillips, who sadly passed away. They did a nice tribute after the game, which was nice to see. Dallas, if you got him, you're doing quite well. Also, him getting the goal. I think he's playing a bit further up, so always a decent man to get. Obviously, Captain Bamford. At least he did get the goal, to be fair. But enough of that, guys. That is how my team did in the previous week. Let me know how yours did in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's see what I've done going into the massive double game week that is Game Week 26. Okay, so this is my team going into Game Week 26, and as you can see, 2 changes to the squads. I have taken a -4. Bamford was originally in the team over Harry Kane, but I just looked at my entire team and everyone was playing twice, and then there was just Bamford, and I was like, no, I've got to get someone playing twice. I saw Tottenham's fixtures, thought I have to have a Spurs player. Yes, their form's a bit dodgy, but Kane got a rest in the Europa League game, and hopefully he can be back firing. What I did do was I actually took off Grealish. Grealish has been confirmed not to be playing, I believe, against Leeds, so I took him out for Gundogan. Man City has some very favourable fixtures going forwards, even beyond this week, and Gundogan, as we know, has been popping up with goals, and he's a cheap option. That gave me exactly enough money to bring in Harry Kane, and I have hit that triple captain button. Now, that could always change. I could change my mind, but I don't think I will. Look, if there's ever a time to use a triple captain, guys, for me, it's always going to be in a double game week, just because of the logical sense. I know that usually you see the biggest returns in just a random single game week, but I'd kick myself if I didn't triple captain someone in a double game week, and they did really well. I think this is one of the many times I've triple captained Kane in Fantasy Premier League. I'm not sure how well that's worked for me in general. I think once he got me 9 points, which was pretty pathetic, but hopefully he can rectify himself after that. But if we go from the team from the bottom upwards, we've got Martinez in goal, Leeds away, Sheffield United away. Hopefully there's at least 1 clean sheet in there. Obviously my Leeds players, Bamford and Struijk, on the bench, so hopefully they won't be doing better than someone like Martinez. Meslier on the bench. So I've actually got 3 Leeds players on the bench. Hopefully they don't pick up a win and a clean sheet against Aston Villa. Got Milo on the bench as well, playing the 2 games. Do I expect a clean sheet against either Tottenham or Leicester? Maybe Leicester, but yeah, I don't know. He's playing 2 games. Could maybe risk it and put in Struijk and see if he gets more points. But I think I'm always going to go with double game week. John Stones, he's been rested a little bit. Hopefully he gets both games against West Ham and Wolves. Robertson, Sheffield United and Chelsea. Like I said before, sceptical about the Chelsea games. Liverpool have won, or lost I should say, 4 home games in a row. You've got to think that's going to end eventually, and unfortunately for me, it could be against the Blues, so maybe that would be a clean sheet for Liverpool. Hopefully not though, because obviously I'd rather my team did well than them doing poorly, and that benefiting my fantasy Premier League team. But always going to play Robertson. Salah as well, Sheffield United away. He's been really Liverpool's best attacker really in this sort of down periods for them. Mane and Firmino the ones maybe underperforming. Salah still on penalties, he's picking up the goals. Sheffield United, you'd like to think he'd get a return there. Chelsea is his former club as well, so you maybe think that he's going to be extra motivated to pop up with some goals. Foden and Gundogan may be risky because of the Pep Roulette. I'd like to think that Gundogan is going to start both games. Obviously a deeper role could be risky that he doesn't pop up with goals, but he's been doing it so far. Hopefully he continues. Foden might not start both games, especially because De Bruyne's back, Aguero's back, that jigs things around. But hopefully, even if he just plays 1, he can pick up some goals for me. Fernandes, Chelsea away, Crystal Palace away. Could get penalties in both, could get goals. Fernandes, I think the second top scorer in the league so far. Barnes on some great form. Arsenal at home, Burnley away look like 2 decent fixtures to me for him to continue his goal scoring tally. Maybe one of the players flying under the radar a bit in the Premier League who needs to be respected that little bit more. And then I've got Watkins, Leeds away, Sheffield United away. Would hope he could pick up a goal in those games. Maybe it'll be a bit harder without Grealish, so hopefully Grealish maybe does come back for that Sheffield United game, but you'd like to hope that maybe Villa can still pick up the goals. And lastly but not leastly, triple captain Harry Kane. Hopefully he can bring me the goods this week and get some big returns and boost me all the way to surpassing my rank from last season, at least. Fingers crossed. But yes guys, that is going to be it. That is my team. Obviously the Leeds players on the bench, Soufal as well, Man City away, makes sense. So yeah, hopefully this team can do the business. Everyone's got a double game week, so fingers crossed it all goes well. As you guys know, one thing that I like to do is pick 3 games for you guys to focus on when bringing in players from specific teams. Because it's a double game week, I'm actually just going to tell you guys 3 teams that you should be focusing on to bring in players from for this week. Now the first one, that's obvious, going to be Manchester City. West Ham and Wolves can both be difficult teams. However, Man City are at home for both of them. We know they like to score a lot of goals. Maybe it could be a bit more conservative, but either way, defenders or attackers or midfielders, anyone from that Man City team could be great to bring in. Obviously, maybe not Ederson because you can get cheaper defenders, but Cancelo, Diaz, Stones, Gundogan, Foden, Sterling, Jesus maybe. I was thinking of bringing Jesus in, to be fair, but Aguero, he's fit. Maybe we'll see a rotation. So, yeah, I think Man City definitely a team that you should be focusing on. I think Tottenham as well, as you can see, Burnley and Fulham, 2 of the worst teams in the league so far. Obviously, they can both pull off decent results. Burnley can sit back. Fulham have been playing well, but I still think you want to favour Tottenham there. Harry Kane got the rest for the Europa League, so hopefully he'll be firing. I think he's a good player to bring in. Son as well. Maybe stay away from the defenders, to be fair, but one of Kane or Son could be good to bring in. Maybe Gareth Bale if you actually do fancy a punt. And I think the final team that I would say to maybe bring in players for is perhaps going to be, you know what, I think I'd probably say Aston Villa still. Even without Jack Grealish, I think Watkins, I think if you want to take a punt on the Barkley, Traore, I still think they should be able to score against both Sheffield United and Leeds. Leeds obviously go all gung-ho. Sheffield United haven't been doing great, so hopefully we can see some Aston Villa returns as well. Leicester, a bit of an outside shout, was a good one as well. There are quite a lot, guys, of good teams to be focusing on, whether in the attacking or defensive state. So yeah, hopefully we can see some big returns. If you guys do have any questions for me, let me know down below in the comment section. Like I said, you are more than welcome to join the league code at the top of the screen. This is going to be my team though. If you enjoy, leave a like, subscribe for more Fantasy Premier League content. Stay tuned for my recap of the game week after it does commence. I do hope you all have a nice day, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next time.